Seattle's special because there's such a huge part of the population here that's really in tune with what's going on, how we're treating our environment, and who really cares. I absolutely love driving EVs. I think what I find most exciting is how inexpensive they are and how fun they are to drive. EVs are just in another league, and I absolutely love driving it.
Well, I think there's a lot of appetite for electric vehicles in Seattle. I personally think it's a great way to get around. I have kids, and so I drive kids around, and they drive themselves around now. And it's a nice way to get around the neighborhood.
In Seattle, it's a place where electric vehicles make sense because we have a lot of hills, and their torque allows them to deal with that super efficiently. And the ones with regenerative brakes let them recapture some of that energy when they go back down the hill.
You look at the respiratory illness, the cardiac illness associated with pollution coming out of our tailpipes, it's profound. You look at the illness rates close to our freeway here on I-5, it's significant increased incidence of these diseases because of what's coming out our tailpipes.
When I think of clean energy and clean power, I think of something that is restorative. I think of an energy source that is sustainable. We are so fortunate to have so much of that here in Seattle and in the greater Northwest with our hydro energy dams. We should tap into that even further, and we've done that in our built environment. Now we can take that a step further and tap into it in our transportation system, and particularly with electric vehicles.
The SGL plant in Moses Lake is the world's largest manufacturer of essentially the carbon substrate that goes into the body of the BMW i3. It's an all-electric car. And that is now turning out the substrate that gets formed into the body, which of course is much lighter and much, much stronger than steel. As a result, the BMW i3 can have extraordinary performance.
What electric vehicles make clear is that we're not done. We can't just stop with electricity. We need to be thinking about ways to get off fossil fuels in our transportation system, and electric vehicles and Seattle City Light's green electrons are a way to do that.
Seattle City Light was the first utility, and I think so far is still the only utility in the United States to be absolutely carbon-free. And we use that not just as we currently do to power the buildings of the city and the industries of the city by increasing the transportation fleet of the city. Then we're leading the whole world in the right direction.
On a more global perspective, these cars have the capability of doing what we need, which is to perhaps save the planet from cataclysmic climate change. So we think we have an elegant solution here where we're using renewable energy from hydro and wind and solar to feed your battery and then power your car in a quiet, safe, non-polluting way.
Whenever someone says electric vehicle, everyone who's listening to them thinks of cars, and that's important. That's where a lot of strides are making. But a huge fraction of our vehicles are not cars. They're trucks, they're delivery vans, they're buses, they're jitneys. And as we begin to electrify Seattle, a big part of what I would like to see is people using, whenever they require individualized transport, their electric vehicle, but unless they absolutely require it, moving into other kinds of electrified vehicles.
I actually received a Nissan Leaf, all electric, through the King County Metro Van Pool program. I heard that they had purchased a number of Leafs to add into the program, and so I created a carpool for it because I just saw it as a great opportunity to drive an EV when they first came on the market. So I'm driving a first generation and absolutely love driving that car.
I'm a grandparent, got 3 grandkids, and I know a large part of the solution so that they can go down to the beach and take their grandkids. And a big part of that answer is the development of electric vehicles. So everybody who's working on this, thank you for my 3 grandkids, and let's go build some electric cars.